Welcome back. You're still on my channel, Fumi Suleiman, and we're still talking about my faith and my entrepreneurship journey. And as I journey along, and I'm so glad you're here with me growing as well. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to hear. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you. God bless. Shalom.
So that's how I started doing the buying and selling. So when I now went into the bank, I didn't do much because banking, and I was in treasury marketing. So it didn't give me a chance to do much of the selling, But until I now started in this first multinational. So when I would come back, and I had an eye for color, I could piece things together, I could jazz it up and all that. And people would see me and say, oh, this is lovely. Why didn't you, so when the why didn't yous became too many, the next trip I did, I started buying. So I would either go and say, okay, I'm going. So who could give me money would give me money when I was traveling. Who couldn't would send me money, or who, for those who really, really couldn't, because of maybe some of us that were dependent on 9 to 5, I had the assurance that when I returned back, come end of month, once salaries hit, you would pay me. So that's how I started buying, like I said, from my 32 kg, 2 suitcases. And in that way, I'll buy stuff for myself, buy stuff for my family, then of course, buy stuff for sale. So I started from small until people started, getting wind of it, that she buys. And I started buying for people's spouses as well. Wow. I'm telling you, such that even when I was now in Ogba, the second multinational, we were having leadership meeting. Once the meeting is over, one of the leaders will just walk up to me and just say, hold on, call his wife, hand the phone over to the wife and say, give her your sizes, and ask me to replicate everything I was wearing, from my clothes down to my shoes. Whoa. So I'm telling you, so my colleagues were the major people that really helped push me in the direction. God used them to push me to start my fashion retail business. And I think, of course, I know that I went to pray about it, and God told me, yes, So even the name and everything, God just gave me direction.
Wow.
And then I'm from there. Yeah.
Wow. So would you say it was because of your relationship? I know God was involved, but would you say it was
relationships are very key, very key. Who you have around you, who you surround yourself with, who you learn from, who you are feeding from, who you are taking information from, really, really goes a long way into shaping you as an individual, your values, and then what happens around you. So if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, people that, God sends, people that would tell you the truth, and have, share with you nuggets from the Lord, and encourage you to build a relationship with God, you will definitely go on the right track. I remember there was a day I was coming back I was at lunch, and I was either going to lunch, and Dare and a few people, Dare, Olateju, we were all coming back. So we met at the corridor, and he said to me that we just finished talking about you at lunch. They were coming out of the canteen. I was going in. And your talent is wasted here. Yeah. Everything you wear is lovely. Both, corporate wear, African wear, everything I wear. So they actually had a conversation about Fumi Suleiman at lunch. And they were like, this girl's talent is wasted. He told me, go out. Go and get a shop. I remember Ben Jato, to one of my friends in Oba. He said to me, Fumi, go and get a shop. We will come and follow you. We'll patronize you. So after work, all those guys, they will come from, the lines in the evening, because I was very conscious I was HR. Yeah. So they will come from the lines, and they'll come and converge at my booth. Yeah. And they will buy things from my booth. Inkiro Borucci, all of them, Shola, all those corporate relations ladies, Pal, Osmoku. I would take them for lunch to my house, because I was living close by. We will have lunch in my house. They would do their shopping at mine, and take back. And so when I started growing, and people were telling me, and of course I was getting the leading from God to open a store. I had to go meet. I met 2 people. I met the head of HR, HR director. That was Ifama Mafeni at that time. And I met this gentleman, the gentleman that took over Shobowale.
Shobowale, it's the lawyer, right?
The lawyer, yes. So I met the 2 of them, and I said to them, that conflict of interest form, and he was like, there's no conflict of interest, one, because I'm not selling what we are manufacturing. Yeah. And I'm not doing it at office hours. I'm doing it afterwards, and he became one of my very, very good customers as well.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, he became one of my very good customers. And then when I spoke to Ifeoma, Ifeoma was like, yeah, oh, no problem. She tried to encourage me not to open a store because she was thinking in her own, and she didn't mean bad. Her thoughts were overheads, renting a store, staff, and all that. But I knew where I was going. I wanted to leave a legacy. I didn't just want to buy and sell. I wanted to open a store and maybe get a chain and pass it on to the ones after me and all that. So I took the good advice that she gave me, but I knew that I was going to definitely go on to having a store.
Yeah. The lawyer guy, he's my friend too, because I know we did a lot of things. I was always coming upstairs to Rotimi Odusola, right?
No, Rotimi is after him. The guy that took over from Rotimi. It's from Cross River, Akwa Ibom.
Is it not the Yoruba guy, the Lego guy?
No, now Sheson was the first guy. After Sheson, there was that Yoruba guy, that Jack guy you're talking about. Then there's this other guy. This guy worked side by side with Sheson for a while.
Oh, the guy from Cross River. Okay, I know him. He wears glasses. Yes. Yeah, I know him. Very funny guy.
Yeah. Very funny guy. That's him.
Yeah. I was thinking about the one that took, the one that came in from MTN to join us.
That dark one. No, that's the one after. Is this the last one?
Oh, that's the last one. Yeah, he's now the director now.
The funny thing, I just remembered now that the one that joined Sheson, the dark one, was actually the person that registered my company, F3G1. Yes.
Which one? The Cross River guy?
The Yoruba one after Sheson, the dark one. Deji, the funny guy.
Oh.
Deji. Remember Deji?
I remember Deji.
Lovely, funny guy. He was one that registered F3G1. Uchendu, Imo, registered ZA12. So, like I said, this is who you have around you. Yeah. And they were so everybody was so supportive. Everybody that God, exposed me to was so supportive.
This is serious. Wow. Frank Okuobi says hi, anyways.
Hey.
So why on the course of your entrepreneurial journey, would you say there was any time that you were at a point where you felt, oh, am I in the right space? Or do you think I should be doing?
I never did for one day,
wow.
For 1 minute, for 1 second, for 1 nanosecond, because it was God that actually told me to step out into full-time entrepreneurship. It wasn't anybody that came to tell me. I had this one-on-one conversation with God, and he told me he'd been trying to get my attention. It was time for me to step out, and and we had a long conversation. And at that time, I just almost mentioned where we were working. That place started becoming uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't deriving the joy that I used to have.
Yeah.
Mind you, I've been there at that time. It was already 9.5 years since I'd been in that place. So it was quite a while, And I started looking for work, but I did not know that God wanted me not to leave there and work somewhere else. So I would do very well, probably get to the last stage, and they told me, oh, they went for the other candidate and, stuff like that. Until I had this conversation with God, and he said to me, it's him, my assignment there is done. It's time for me to move and all that. So I called my father, because my father, I was carrying my dad along with all my stories, at where I worked. Immediately God was done speaking with me at that time, right in the car, because I didn't step out of right in the car. I just dialed my dad, and I told my dad that I've decided to leave this place. As I mentioned the name, something came out of my inside, out through my mouth. I had to confess it. I felt like there was deliverance going on. There was only me in the car. Nobody laid hands, but I felt something come out of me when I said it. And in the course of the journey, because I know I clearly heard God say leave, I have never regretted leaving. And that's not to say I've not gone through fire.
Yeah.
That's not to say I have not been broke, or I've not gotten to situations where I'm like, oh no, you know. But because I heard from God, you know, I have never regretted leaving.
Yeah.
You know, same thing for my business partner and I, when we're going through, because you're working with, you know, the friendship is different from when you're now working together. So of course we have different personalities and, you know, and there was a day we were talking, we have regular meetings, and we were having one of these meetings, and I don't know where that question came from. And I asked her, I said, have you ever thought of, you know, just calling it a day? She said, many times. I said, not once. She said, I said, yeah. I said, not once. I said, you know why? I said, because when the idea came up and you were so gung-ho on us going into this partnership, remember, I was a bit, I wasn't reluctant. I was slower because I needed to go and pray. And the truth is, I did not want to lose a friend in the course of business. So if the business didn't work out and we went our separate ways, we most likely may not have gone in a, you know, in a cordial or happy way. So I needed to hear God tell me, yes, this is the way, go, you know, go in it. So that no matter whatever come across our way, because I know God is backing us, in front of us, leading us, guiding us, I'm at peace, you know. So that's where I am. I've never, you know, and it's for anyone, I'm hoping for anyone who's, you know, the thing is, I remembered when I dropped my letter, many people were asking, where are you going? And I said, I'm not going anywhere. That God said that, you know. So I had a few people call me and ask me in the office, you know, that I had a friend, we have one a former colleague then, his family had been in the States for years, and he's still in Nigeria, and he's been wanting, his family had been wanting him to go there, he's wanting them to come back.
Yeah.
But he was reluctant, and he's still very reluctant. So he had to call me that, you know, he was like, help me, how did you hear? You know, of course, the fear of the unknown, family man, children. So he was really, really asking, you know, and I remember having a few of those conversations over the phone, face to face with many people who were also there. And when I went back to the office for one reason or the other, people would tell me, you mean there's life? You mean there's life after this? In fact, somebody wrote in the poster, if you go to my page on Facebook, somebody actually wrote it there. You know, you mean there's, thank you for reminding us that there's life after this. Somebody else wrote in my LinkedIn profile to say, you encourage us so much. When we look at you, we are encouraged that when we leave here, we're not going to fail. You know, and it's so touching that my life, God is using my life to actually encourage people, guide them and help them. And whatever story I have, once I say it, it really ministers to them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm so blessed, which is why I said it's a ministry. I didn't know that. I just knew that God was telling me, go here, and let's go, Lord. You know, here I am, send me.
Wow.
You know, so that's how.
Wow. Oh, so one more thing before I even do anything now. Let me show us your journey as a philanthropist. There were images you sent, but I want people to see that before I ask you any questions.
Okay.
How that journey went. How is that journey going? How that journey is going. Oh my God. So this is, can you see?
Yeah, I can.
Can you still see?
Yeah, I can see now. I can see the image.
So this is you. Yeah. You see the next one? Yeah. Who is this? Who is the little boy you're carrying?
My son from the home. His name is Raphael. And if you look at him, if you look at the center, the small picture in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him when we first met him.
This
August
one?
2019.
Oh, okay.
There's a picture that has three small boys side by side in the middle, bottom. Yeah? That was him when he first. So I went to the home that day, and can I tell the story now or later?
No, go on.
Okay. So I went to the home, and my friends and I were handling some projects at that time. So they were taking me around the place to see the work that had to be done.
Yeah.
So I would climb up. There's a computer room / library. There was another building. So I would walk past him. He was there on that little stroller. You can see he's there.
Yeah.
So I walked past him. So when I saw him the first time, I just assumed that he was one of the children of the staff, the kitchen staff that were preparing food, that cook for the children in the home. So I went up. I went past him a few times, but I noticed that nobody was going around him. He was just there on his own, isolated, lonely, and sickly. You could see him. He was pale, malnourished, everything. So I think I just got tired of walking past him. So I'd asked twice. They didn't answer me. So I stood. So the person that was taking me around, the coordinator at the time in the home, I now stood. I said, who is this child? You know? And she now said to me that he had just been brought in fairly recently. His mom had just recently passed. She lost her mind. I don't want to say the other awful word. Yeah. And then she died. And single father, unable to cater, you know. In fact, the man couldn't even take care of his family. So there was hunger, you know. And so they had to bring him to the home for care. Yeah. So he had just been circumcised that day. And as you're looking at him, he was almost 2 years old then. But he looked like a 6-month-old baby.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So I picked him up, you know. I held him against my chest. I said a word of prayer over him. I took pictures with him. I did a little video. And then I went back of course, I went home and I shared it on the WhatsApp profile for my friends and I that support the home. Yeah. And I said to them, I just met this guy, and I just, gave them a story about this gentleman, and I wanted us to take his welfare up on board. And they said, of course, So I contacted the home, and I contacted the late owner then, and I spoke to her and I told her what we planned.